Hello, so today we're going to look at some patterns and how they relate to one another. So number one says Lou has two sets of numbers. The first set starts with 3 and follows a pattern of increasing by 5. The second set starts with 39 and follows a pattern of decreasing by 6. So I've got Lou's two patterns here. The first pattern, the rule is to increase by 5, which of course just means he's going to add 5 every single time. So I've got 3, 8, 13, 18, and so on. His second pattern starts with 39, and the rule for his pattern number 2 is to decrease by 6, which means he's going to subtract 6 every time. So I have 39 minus 6 is 33, minus 6 is 27, so on and so forth. So your question says, how many numbers do the two sets have in common? So you're just going to look at the first pattern, not the rule, but 3, 8, 13, 18, and so on. And you're going to look at the second pattern, and you're trying to determine how many numbers they have in common. So for example, each pattern has the number 3. Okay, so go ahead and finish and click your answer. Number 2 says a pattern of ordered pairs is shown, and they have the X and the Y for 4 different ordered pairs. It says the pattern continues. What is the 8th ordered pair in the pattern? So first of all, I can think of it as 2 different patterns. I have an X value and a Y value. So my first X value is a 0, and then the second X value is a 2. The third X value is a 4. The fourth X value is a 6. Okay, and we're going to look for the 8th ordered pair. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to put some blanks for 5, 6, 7, 8 until I solve. Okay, then I'm going to look at the Y values. So I have 1, 4, 7, and 10. And I'm going to line those up underneath the X. 1, 4, 7, and 10. Again, that's the first 4. But I want the 8th ordered pair. So this would be number 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm looking for this ordered pair, which means I need to figure out the rule for each pattern. So if I have 0, 2, 4, 6, I can see that the first or the X rule is to add 2 each time. So I would continue with 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, for the Y, it looks like I'm adding 3 each time, or you could say increasing by 3 to get from 1 to 4 to 7 to 10. So if I add 3 more, I would have 13. And then add 3, add 3, add 3 to get my 8th ordered pair. Number 3, Richard and Nick each create a pattern. Richard's pattern starts with 2 and uses the rule add 5. Nick's pattern starts with 4 and uses the rule multiply by 7. The ordered pair 2, 4 represents the first terms of each pattern. Which ordered pair represents the second terms in each pattern? So we've got Richard and we have Nick. Richard's pattern starts with 2 and uses the rule add 5. So that means his next number would be 7. Nick's pattern starts with 4 and uses the rule multiply by 7. The ordered pair 2, 4 represents the first terms in each pattern. So that means that the X value is Richard's number and the Y value is Nick's number. Okay, so that's how they got the first ordered pair. So if I want the second terms or the second ordered pair, I already know that Richard, the X value is going to be 7. So all I need to do is find Nick's next number, next term, and that's going to be the Y value. Number 4, what is the next ordered pair in the pattern? Again, we have X and Y, and you're going to see that a lot, especially on test questions or EOG questions, where the two patterns are going to be an X and a Y value, because then you could take what you know from graphing and coordinate grids, and you could graph the X values and the Y values, or you could graph the patterns. So if I just look at the X values, I have 12, and then I have 10, and then I have 8. And then for my y values, I have 3 and 5 and 7. So to find the next ordered pair, I need to figure out the rules for each pattern. So for X, it looks like my rule is to subtract 2 or to decrease by 2 each time. So 12, 10, 8, I could figure out my next number by subtracting 2 from 8. And then for my Y pattern, it looks like the rule is to add 2 each time or to increase by 2. I have 3, 5, 7. So to find the next 2 terms or the next term in each pattern, I'm going to follow the rule for each pattern, and then I'll put my X value here and my Y value here. Number 5 says Bill and Josh are collecting cans for a school fundraiser. Their collections are recorded in this table. So we've got Bill on day 1, he's collected 4 cans. Day 2, he's collected 7 cans, and so on. Josh has collected 5 cans for day 1, 9 cans by day 2, so on and so forth. How many more cans will Josh collect than Bill on the 8th day if the pattern continues? Okay, so I just sort of rewrote the chart down here. And we're looking for the 8th day of the pattern. That's what the question is asking me. So I have day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I went ahead and measured out 6, 7, 8. Same thing for Josh. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8. And then I circled it because that's what I'm focusing on. So for Bill's pattern, he has 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. I can see that the rule for Bill's pattern is to add 3 or increase by 3 each time. So I'm going to use that rule to figure out his 8th term in the pattern. Josh has 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, so his rule is to add 4 or increase by 4 each time. So I'm going to use that rule to figure out his 8th term. Okay, once you get those, be careful because the question says, how many more cans will Josh collect than Bill on the 8th day? So how many more means I'm going to take Josh's amount and subtract Bill's amount to find the difference.